Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears. Last time, one-on-one with God. This time, one-on-one with Grahf. Yeah, so they've kind of talked about this a little bit, and I will go into a bigger explanation either tail end of this episode or the next one, depending on how this fight goes and how time progresses. I don't want to have super 30-minute long videos just to go through all the sequences all at once. So yeah, why don't you understand that your naivety is what killed Sophia, what killed your mother? Yeah, so Faye is basically one at this point now, so he remembers all of his memories. What that entails, we'll find out later. But for now, we know we need to rescue Ellie, we need to wake up Father and Lacan. Fight me! You can't. Oh great, Faye's a pacifist again. Oh, okay. I'll use them as bait. That sounds like a great idea. Why must you destroy everything? If we stop Deus, won't it all be over? You still don't understand. I came to understand after my contact with the existence that even if Deus was destroyed, as long as humans still inhabit the land, Yang, Ellie will be born time and again. I will go over it, don't you all worry. It's the only path to freedom. So, basically your argument is Final Fantasy X Spiral of Death. Of course, this was made before Final Fantasy X, so technically I guess it was an inspiration for 10, but whatever. It's not like it hasn't been used by many other games at many other points and other forms of media. That's what you concluded. Which woman? There's two of them there. Well, I guess right now they're kind of the same, but... Yes, she did. Deus doesn't matter. Well, kinda does. He's like a big god of death. Again, that seems to be very similar to 10 again. Oh well. Never. Then I have no choice. Time has come to truly become one. And what we are piloting now is the final form. Yes, the true Weltall. A reference to Lacan, of course, being, you know, a previous incarnation, I guess, of Faye, from what they've said so far. But we have the same stuff we had on before, but we have a new gear, Xenogears, the final form of Weltall. Now, as you can see here, we no longer have System id. We don't need it. Take a look at your hyper mode percentage over on the right hand side. You will notice that it is at 99%, even though I am almost at full HP, which is over 30,000. Yeah, it's always 99%, so you never need to worry about it. Power output has been improved as well. It's over 700 now, which is better than anyone else. Nothing specific there that's different. I would booster. And yeah, so true Weltall, they explain the reasonings behind that even. So that's pretty cool. I'm just going to show off kind of a bunch of different attacks in this fight, because it's obviously you're fighting an enemy one-on-one. They almost never do it where it's too difficult. So there was triangle attack, and then square attack, and this will be an X attack. And he's dodging a lot, which isn't helping matters. Let's see here. Let's go with Yin Power. And then we will show off his ultimate death blows now, his hyper death blows. he can beat on me as much as he wants. He's not going to win. Hell, I can even heal if I want to. So yeah, Infinity mode. Let's check out the triangle one first. Yeah, the triangle one did 7,000 damage. Square one, they're slightly different from previous versions, but yeah. He's creating, like, what, sonic booms, massive explosions? Oh, I didn't get to show off the X one. Oh well. The X one I'll show off later. It's the only one I'll be using from now on, so... Why don't you finish me off? Yeah, the mighty Grahf, the Alpha Weltall that we fought before. Now it's True Weltall for whatever reason they changed the name. But, yeah. He was so difficult for everyone else to face, but now he just kind of gets himself beaten. He kind of is Grahf. How do you figure that? We don't have to fight. What's going on? So I guess the Zohar has some kind of, or Deus has control over it or something like that. But yeah, it's trying to combine with the contact with Faye, because Faye has the power, and they obviously want that for Deus. They want to make Deus whole. It seeks to unify with you, the first to have been divided from it, way back when. What? So yeah, this is why, even though Lacan was a contact prior to, and we'll go into how that works later, but yeah, he's now an incomplete contact because the physical body is no longer there. Instead, we have a different physical body, because Grahf just possesses other people's bodies, but he still has the spirit, so it's an incomplete contact. Yeah, so he didn't really become Grahf until he had contact with the Wave Existence. So yeah, the original body died, but like Lacan, his spirit transmigrated, bringing the destiny of becoming in contact with him. He was reborn in your body. So yeah, this idea of the contact is reborn generation after generation. Grahf was different. Grahf was separate from that. Yeah. And the remaining persona here is Grahf. Yeah, so he's basically partially there, but not entirely. It is impossible for me to make real contact. There'd be no true melding and release. Yeah, so he's basically half of a contact, but not enough. So, the guy that's been trying to get our power to awaken, to merge with us, to destroy the world for the entire game, is now going to help us? Only one who can destroy the physical barrier that encases God's body. So yeah, this is the one line. I wasn't sure if they actually had this line, but there is one line in the game, and this is it, as far as I remember, that talks about why Karen was able to break through Miang's control. Now, they're saying here that Miang is beginning to break free of her bonds. And what those bonds are, we will kind of talk about later. All of her memories. The contact's complement, up to to her current transmigration. It includes all of the lives she lived as Miang and her substitutes over the centuries. And of course, that includes your mother's memories as well. Cut away all the binds on mankind. We should be able to do that now. Save her and all the other women bound with her. Basically, Grahf gets absorbed into the Zohar as kind of a replacement because he's almost like Faye. Almost like a contact. Okay, we'll see how this goes. I'm not sure how much I'll be able to get through. I want to get through this full sequence at least. At the end of that, we'll see if we have time. We'll go into the whatever it is, me going over the intro and reanalyzing. It's just going to take a while. So maybe this one will be long, maybe not. You'll know before I will. Anyway, so yeah, the pendant that he's always worn is both Mother Sophia's as well as his mother's. It signifies not a whole lot, I don't think. It's kind of a symbol for him, but you've done that a lot throughout the game. There is little time left now for me and for our planet. But before we do that, there's an important scene upcoming. This one. And yeah, we finally get some more music. Thank you. What is this place? This is where it all started. This is our Genesis. Humans were born here. Long ago, Deus crash-landed on the planet in an interplanetary colony ship. In order to revive itself someday, Deus detached the Zohar modifier's core, so the Zohar. After the core unit came down here, a single woman awoke and arose out from it. She is the mother of all humanity. Someone else said they were the mother of everyone. After she awoke, she used all her power to bear several beings. They would become the ancestors of the whole of humanity. We already know who they are. The Emperor and the Gazelle Ministry. They're the first people. We've already heard this. Finally, she gave birth to replicas of herself to be humanity's caretakers. The two selves, the human mother and the weapon. The subject and the complement. That is Ellie and Miang. So yeah, the fact that they've now re-merged is rather interesting, and the fact that it's, as far as we know, it's only happened once in all of the 10,000 years of existence of humans on this planet says something. Faye, in a previous life, was the sole survival from the colony ship. You met Ellie, and everything started from there. The land of Genesis, Katamon. This is that place. I don't know why they throw that in there. Probably because of the reference to Adam Katamoni, but basically this is the landing point of Zohar, the core. It might also be where Katamoni landed when it broke off from whatever else crashed off that ship. Anyway, even with your shared fate with Deus, why do you have such ancient memories? Good question. Normally, human memories cannot be passed down through generations. They do not have the ability to compress and store memories in their introns. I don't know what an intron is. It's actually, I think, a real concept. I just wasn't going to go that far into physics in order to make this explanation. But Ellie, myself, and Miang are different due to our connection with the wave existence, that is, due to Zohar's ability to change possible phenomena. We can clearly store the data, blah blah blah, and leave behind memories to be inherited by our descendants. Just as the wave existence is bound inside of Zohar, the information is affixed to me, so to speak, by some of the power of the wave existence. So basically, they all are reborn. Generation after generation after generation after generation ad infinitum. That's not a word, but whatever. And as that happens, the newer ones remember what the other ones did. Faye didn't remember that because basically his personality was only 3 years old and was blocked out of those memories. This is the form from when Ellie and Miang were still one being, the first woman of the world. And yeah, long since mummified, but our mother, the original. Now, they didn't really explain it, but now is as good a time as any, so we're gonna cut right here. This is as far as we need to go right now. But unfortunately, in order to check out the beginning FMV again, I have to eject that CD. I have to insert the first CD, and then I have to reset because for some reason it doesn't want me to load that the video or the opening cinematic. Stop that. On disc 2. I don't know why, but anyway, let's fast forward here a little bit. Okay, so Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Now, not only does this have, I'm going to pause it here, we don't have just the biblical references here, but not only did the wave existence basically speak this as well, meaning that he is the first and the last. He's at the start of this and he'll be at the end of this. But this also applies to Deus. Deus was there at the very beginning. He's supposed to be this great god of destruction. He's going to be there at the end too. Anyway, this is the cinematic from the start of the game. We do need to go through this again. This time, I'll just kind of shut up while they're talking and pause it at points that are relevant. So this is the Eldridge, that original ship, the colony ship that contained both colony members, people, as well as Deus. They were sending this off to colonize another planet and pretty much get rid of Deus because he was too powerful. Couldn't be controlled properly. These were, well, basically human beings from another planet.
This is an emergency. Level 1 alert.
Omega-1 restarting. Alpha-1 genome restructuring. Confirming exon replacement.
Okay, so that, as you can see, is most likely Deus. So this is another reference is how, what's actually going on. Deus is the problem here. He's the cause of all the chaos going on here.
Base code 85 million. 100 million. Its speed is overwhelming. Alpha-1 to raise your central. Access confirmed. Initializing fake net. Disconnected. Activating emergency shelter.
It's interesting that's 100
Denied.
million.
Contamination is spreading widely. Captain.
Cut off the cables manually.
Roger. Activating self-destruct bolts.
Kind of like the worker bees in Solaris.
Confirming. No good, nothing happened. Omega-1, they are attacking. We can't...
And this scene here should look kind of familiar. This was actually the Fatima Jasper. If you kind of look around, it has the same kind of circular thing. It'll show up in a moment here. I just don't want to go too far past it so you can't look at it. But yeah, the different things that we found throughout the game, there's these examples of great technology, far more than we have. Some of them are from the civilizations that have developed on Earth. Others, such as the Eldridge, and I believe the Fatima Jasper is another one, that were actually part of the Eldridge, this ship, way before that even began. See what I mean there? Definitely like...
Autopilot system Faust has been accessed, and its phase space logic is being rewritten. Ergo area is increasing. An internal plane is forming. Switching to space displacement mode. Alpha-1, confirming transfer of coordinate codes. Coordinates input, coordinate NX128, EZ061. The main planet.
Dan. So
I'm not sure if the main planet in this case is referring to their home planet or the planet they were going to or whatever. But basically, Deus is the cause of all this. He's doing something. He may be trying to force the ship to land, and I believe that's what he's trying to do, on the planet that they wanted to land on, but they didn't want, obviously, Deus to be out of control while they're trying to land. So maybe they've already scoped this planet, the one that the entire game takes place on, out originally, and were going to settle on it, but they needed to make sure Deus was under control, and whatever they were doing was going to threaten that planet, because Deus was basically a machine created to destroy planets.
Planning on attacking. Engine room. Activate the emergency sealing system. Engine room. Engine.
They're not there. And of course, ye shall be as gods references Cosmos and Xenosaga.
See that all civilians and passengers are safely transported to the escape shuttles. I will send a dispatch after evacuation is complete. I am evacuating the ship. All of you, evacuate now.
Evacuate. Evacuate. Evacuate the ship immediately. All passengers please board the shuttles in a calm and orderly fashion.
Deus has control here. He's shooting down the escapees. Deus there. Okay, now I briefly mentioned this, I think, in the original time we went through this intro, but yes, the girl there, the daughter, looks a lot like Ellie. And I'm not sure if the wife is supposed to look like Karen, but I don't think so. I think Karen has a different hair color. But regardless of that, yeah. So there isn't anything special here. It's probably the reason why Ellie looks the way that she looks. It's not like a direct descendant or anything like that, but she appears to be, what, a teenager or a young adult in this photo. And so, yeah, that's kind of the idea. And a lot of people believe that that's why Ellie looks the way Ellie looks. So this guy is basically sacrificing himself to save everything from Deus. And he's somewhat successful. It took 10,000 years to revive Deus after that. Compared to his one life, it's not too bad. This is one of the wreckages. In fact, this is the one we're already at. The reason why I know that is the naked lady with purple hair in the opening cinematic. We know who she is. She is the original mother. Now, just so we're kind of aware here, this is the original mother. The original mother's name is both Miang and Ellie. And I know that's confusing, but there are two names used. Like, Miang inhabits different bodies down the line. Like the first one, the mother gave birth to the two. There's the Ellie, and then there's the Miang. And each of them kind of correspond differently. They have different purposes, and that will be explained later too. But in this case, Miang is, even though I think this is only in the Perfect Works, it actually has a last name. And that refers, I think, to the original. This one. And that's Miang Hawa. And I'm not sure what that stands for because I believe it's all in capitals. Hawa, I believe, off the top of my head. And yeah, so she's kind of, I'm not particularly sure how much I can say at this point because a lot of the stuff that I want to say gets kind of revealed. But here's another one of those big moments. And here we see a lot of the other parts from the ship crash landing. But yeah, that's our basic story here. Faye, Miang, and Ellie all reincarnate along the lines and along generations. And I'm surprised I actually managed to do it. I remembered to go back and rewatch that and got most of the explanations I wanted to out of the way, at least as far as I remember. But that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Play Xenogears. Next time, we'll go back to Disc 2 and finish the scene we were kind of starting on. But it really changes tone there, which is why I wanted to tack on this explanation there. It really worked in reference to the scene we already watched and really doesn't work with the one that we were about to watch in the next episode. Anyway, that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys in the end.